Welcome to the Sushi Forum, week 104. Each week we look at proposals that are on the Sushi Discourse Forum on Snapshot or have already passed the voting process. This is an open community call, so everyone is welcome to join us up on stage anytime. We also have the AMA Text Questions channel available for those who wish to engage via text. As always, joined by our super co-host, Zeppicini. None of this is financial advice, so please do your own research. Thank you for showing up today, folks. I know it has been a savage week for a lot of people. Obviously, the collapse of the FTX, that's been like pretty crazy. And especially with just like all the fallout and contagion that's happened around it. I'm sure a lot of people have been affected by that. I really, just kind of want to throw out the PSA for that, and around like custody and everything. And, a big part of like what's going on at Sushi and why it is important to be able to retain custody of your assets and then be able to use them in a permissionless system, such as an AMM, to swap with, rather than giving up custody, praying that you don't get wrecked, and coming back out. This has been like an ongoing theme for me and has been like a major driver for why I came to DeFi, why I've come to Web3. Because, now I actually did forget about some assets that I had on FTX a long time ago. So it's not much, but still I can chalk it up as a fourth centralized exchange that has now wrecked me. So, FTX was considered, probably the biggest or safest or the most trusted. And we still end up here. So, as far as I'm concerned, the only safe way to handle your assets, this is not financial advice or anything like that, but just here is my strategy and take it or leave it. After Tangle's been a part of this industry for the better part of a decade, has been wrecked several times, likes to kind of compare himself to the meme where with the army guy laying over top of the little kid sleeping in bed. I'm that army guy, and I just want people to realize like how like you're not safe. So the only way to be safe is to have a hardware wallet that you've generated your own seed phrase from that hardware wallet. You've kept that seed phrase extremely safe. You have that stored away in a safe place. The hardware wallet is then containing all of your assets, and you interact with permissionless systems, and everything is being stored in full custody on yourself. And that's why, again, a lot of us are here at Sushi to try and participate within this system that allows for that, allows for custody, allows for safety, allows for protection. And you interact with a beautiful AMM that allows you to get what you want and do what you want. Again, super powerful to have that custody. And I think people I hope they're going to start waking up to this and really, really see it, because it's just like, it's mind melting that, the way this all works.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a circus, man. I don't think anybody really saw that one coming with FTX, honestly. But
No.
Maybe there was some writing on the wall here and there over the last few months, but seeing Sam on Fortune 500 or Fortune magazine.
This is like probably one of the craziest, character arc plots. Is that right? If I'm saying that correctly? Yeah, where they're the arc is.
You can just looking in the price talk, like, there's a rabbit hole there, but it's neither here nor there right now at the moment. It's everybody's in it's gonna be tough times for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the scrutiny behind it as well. I know, like, obviously the the U.S. has got a big eye on crypto at this time, and they're just going to be looking at this and saying, "Oh, well, we need to regulate every aspect of this." Whereas everything in, like, as far as I'm concerned, and maybe there's some other outlying edges here where this isn't accurate, but with DeFi, everything is on chain, and therefore you can actually look at what's going on. So if something like this was happening where you were saying, okay, I'm going to deposit these funds into this contract, they're going to be used in some obscure way, at least you would be able to track that and see like, oh, wow, they have actually been degenning towards like liquidated loans because of bad debt and stuff like this. And that's where my funds are being used. Oh, geez, I should probably get out of this or like not participate in it whatsoever. Whereas everyone's finding out after the fact what's happening. I don't know. I just like, you can actually see and read contracts. So if you really want to, you're able to like identify what is happening in the systems you are participating in, rather than just like, I don't know. Maybe maybe in like the FTX, I don't know, agreement waivers or whatever. Maybe they said, hey, it's cool for us to use your funds wherever we want and wherever we choose. But I mean, I don't think people want to sign up for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's either way, it's you got to be vigilant and like really pay attention to this stuff, even if you're just degenning in DeFi, right? Because seeing people going into red coins that are caught, like, not the average person's not going to have the foresight to go in and look at the contract and look for the kill function that lets the contract rug you and stuff like that, or finding all the red flags. So
yeah, very true. Very true. So yeah, there is like a lot more, I guess, with that permissionlessness and the access, there does come other risks. But so if you are aping into new things, I mean, yeah, that's pretty, you are taking on a ton of risk. But yeah, when you do have like tried and tested products, contracts, applications, that's where it's,
I guess at the end of the day, it isn't too different than holding a giant wad of cash under your bed and somebody breaking your house and stealing it, I guess.
In some ways, yeah. Yeah. But, anyhow, my heart goes out to everybody that was super, super affected by this. And I mean, don't give up. Keep going. I don't know if you have friends or family or loved ones or even anybody that is listening in here, if you have been affected, just know that you're still in the right place, that this is an innovative technology, that the fundamentals have not changed. Even as like, that's super memey, but I mean, all of this was designed, like these problems that plague us and have over the past year are all things that are like not a part of the fundamentals of crypto and are kind of the antithesis of what crypto was designed to be. A decentralized, permissionless, custody, sovereignty, all these sorts of things. And it's like these places that are doing the exact opposite of that are giving us grief. Anyhow, yeah. I'm just ranting on, but get yourself a hardware wallet if you don't. Always protect those funds. Even a hot wallet like MetaMask, does pose risks. I don't recommend that. So make sure that you generate new seed phrase, get it onto a hardware wallet, move any assets off of a hot wallet like MetaMask, and go from there.
I actually picked up another one of those Keystone, like the metal, where you can engrave your seed phrase on it and lock it.
Yep.
Padlock it.
Yep. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I really like those. Did you get the what is it? There's like a $50 one and a $40 one. Did you get the bigger one?
Oh, I guess it's $40. I bought it off of Amazon, so it was a little bit cheaper, but yeah.
Okay, sick. Yeah, I really like those as well. And apparently they're like good for like super like house fires. They'll still be good. So
yeah, the last thing I need is my piece of paper, to go missing or get. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are ways to, like, I've never done it, but you can shard your seed phrase somehow. I'm not really sure the exact way of doing that, but like then you can have it as like 2 of 3. So you're able to like take as long as you have 2 of the 3 tablets or whatever, 2 of the 3, sections of your seed phrase, you'll be able to recover it. But I need to look into that a little further. So I don't think that's really
I remember like hearing like a story from Vitalik where he had that he got sent. What was he? He got like sent like half of. It wasn't like Shiba or Dogecoin or something like that, or like a meme coin that he got sent like crazy amounts. So he ended up donating it. Right. That was a while back. That was like last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm digressing too.
All good, all good. But anyways, yeah, there's some interesting ways to do that. Like there's Shamir Secret, and then yeah, sharding as well. Anyways, do your own research. Check out what's right for you. Self custody is important and is available to you in this beautiful permissionless DeFi Web3 EVM, well, whatever ecosystem. So, all right. Okay. Moving on here, I guess like last thing that we had on Snapshot was multi-sig. So that has been it is in process of getting all dialed in. Maki's taking care of some of that just to get everybody organized. I see Nick Jr. in the audience. Thank you for being a part of that. And having just getting everyone to tweet out their addresses as well. I think we're going to keep going with that. That's, I think, a great idea so that we know that there is full transparency around the addresses and that it is actually owned by those individuals. So that way there isn't like, there's no question around like, oh, was this just like 7 addresses that were made by one person and, it's, GG. So I think that's a really good play to do that. So anyways, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, then of course just update the Git books and everything and kind of go from there. So now, I guess like other stuff too here with the like proposals that were on the forum and whatnot. And I did see actually like Lamer here posted about the clawback, and I know Mountain Goat also posted here like just being like opposed to it as well. I think because like this is interesting here that like here's a transaction for harvesting locked sushi. It was just 9 days ago, and probably just because of the clawback talk. And it's for 92,500 sushi. So this address harvested it as an active LPer in Sushi Swap since day one. Literally, its currently LP positions are worth about 4 million. And what would happen to that liquidity if we'd have taken the 92,000 sushi? So yeah, very good point there. And like, that's why I think, having this discussion to say like, hey, get your sushi out, take it. Let's make sure everybody is like doing it. Cause I mean, if you're just leaving 92,000 that has been sitting there since the beginning, like that's awesome. But it's not like it's just like 9.2 sushi and you're like concerned about the gas costs or anything, especially if you've got a $4 million position that's just been sitting there, like, accruing fees and sushi, had all that sushi. Like,
oh, that could have been over $1 million worth of sushi if you got it last year.
So yeah, like, I don't know, if you've got 92,000 sushi just kicking, I think you're in a pretty good position, but, that you can just forget about, like, that's pretty great. But let's get everybody to claim all that and then it's find out, because it's not like we're just going to say, hey, let's make a proposal to claw it back as of, tomorrow. Let's give everyone time and make sure so that we do get these kind of people to come out of the woodwork, and try and broadcast it, shout from the rooftops, make sure, hey, everybody knows, here's what's up, and yeah, kind of go from there. Because like, yeah, there may be dead wallets, but this one, which may have appeared to be, isn't. They dealt with it. Perfect. This is what we need, I think. So anyways, that's where at least we're getting people out. And maybe we end up with everybody claiming everything and there's nothing left to claim. Perfect. At least like we did the PSA to get everybody that like has fun sitting there. But
yeah.
Let's see here. It's up to them. Yeah. It's not a clawback from user wallets. It's money sitting there. You can claim to give people a deadline and use it for better things. Yes. It's in a contract. Those LP providers more likely will leave Sushi Swap if we claw back.
See, dude, this is hard because this is how I feel about what Crypto Lamer just said right there is what I feel about the clawback, about the compi, full treasury reroute. Like, man, I know like it's gonna be tough times coming up here, but I just don't feel like that's the way. Like, I mean, I guess everybody needs a break this week because of just all the insanity that just happened over the last few days. But like, yeah, whereas it's pretty small audience today, man.
Yeah.
I don't want there's no reason for us to shed off any goodwill here, like for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, obviously like further discussion needs to happen around this, and it's great to have like more people involved. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people that are down bad and hurting, but
no, Neil, the people who no, it's the ethos, man. At the end of the day, that's yeah. What's going on, Jared?
Yo, Jared.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo.
I'm
Yeah.
not feeding back, am I?
No,
Nah,
you're
you're
good.
good.
You're good.
Cool. There are no easy ways to fix the mismanagement of the treasury that took place over the last 2 years. The reason we're even having these types of conversations is because of a lack of foresight, right? So these are tough decisions to make, and you have to weigh them against the future of the protocol, right? If we have limited choices, which we do, the reality is there aren't many ways to bring value to a treasury that, maybe gives us a year's worth of runway aside from the liquid runway that we have through June of next year, right? It's easy when you're on the outside, like some people in the community, right? And they take hardline stances on things that they don't really have a vested interest in the outcome. And so you have to weigh these things, right? Like the way I look at this is the future loss of the closure of sushi to all of the stakeholders, right? And stakeholders are people that own tokens now, people that have business relationships, et cetera, right? Is the closure of sushi something worth more or worth less than, increasing can pie, right? Or the X sushi fee back to the treasury to make up for past mistakes, right? Is the clawback something that should be done however it's done, like, right? If we decide as a community to do it or not to do it, if we do, what is the most fair way to do that? These aren't easy decisions, but like it could be that not making somewhat contentious, choices could lend the protocol to be in a place to not serve the greater breadth of stakeholders, which is quite a lot more financial interest than what's in the Merkle tree, right? And I don't look at the rewarder contract as being something that, how can I put this? I don't think if it's structured the right way that it sacrifices the decentralized ethos that people are putting forward. I think if you were to do it without disclosure, without a timeline, without communication, obviously that is not something that would float. Like that's the wrong way. But you have to communicate and articulate the plan, right? And maybe there's an alternative method. And what I would like to see from the community is less about their lines in the sand, and as well on my side, because I'm open to these ideas, and I'm not thinking about let's do the Merkle tree, clawback, and other ideas be damned. It's my way or the highway. It's more of like, here's what we have available. If you have a better idea, put it forward. We understand, or I personally understand the argument against it, but it's like my responsibility is to, like, at least the way I view my role is to the longevity, right, of the protocol. So I would say if you're against it, or even if you are for it, but you don't feel like it's the best way forward, I would like to have the community put forth ideas. And I know that I think it was either RSK or Crypto Lamer put forth an idea, right? Because what I've been working on the last few weeks is just one of the main areas of focus of sushi that I feel is pretty broken, or the tokenomics, right? The whole model is insufficient at this point of the protocol, and it needs a complete reworking. And so that's what I've mostly been spending my time on. But yeah, if you have an idea outside of well, let's put it this way: if you have an opinion of why you think it shouldn't happen, I'd like to hear an idea of how you think we get that value elsewhere. Because I put the the proposal up, and it was, met with strong opposition, but that's literally the only revenue source that comes in for sushi, right? So at some point, we're going to have to make a compromise to survive. So what does that compromise look like? How do we move forward? I've been working with the engineering team to refactor and rebuild our stack so that going forward into the next year, sushi's product revenue diversifies. So there's a long-term plan, and we're working on that. It's not ready to make public, because making this stuff public in an incomplete form is going to create more controversy, or could create more controversy, right? In these types of ideas that are like really bring a lot of change, they need to be thought through before they're presented. So
yeah, that's pretty much where I'm sitting on things too. I mean, it's just a philosophical deadlock of this is wrong, or like we got to do it, But like I would love to see more options on the table, Like I know there's a lot of, like, there's so many smart people out here. I know everybody's kind of like drained, from the bear market and stuff like that, but I mean, don't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to be if you want to be an active part of a community, right, and you're here for the purpose of helping the experiment succeed, it's great to put forth ideas, draw your conclusions, present your position, and then figure a way forward. I see a lot of the same kind of comments popping up, people saying they're not going to do this. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to go to a governance vote, and not everyone's going to be happy, right? So put the best ideas forward, because maybe the team doesn't have them. Maybe I don't have them.
I definitely don't have them. I'll be the first person to say, dude, I'm the biggest dum-dum here, I feel like. And
no, I mean, dude, like anybody, sometimes like someone said this to me the other day. It's like sometimes the best half-baked, or sometimes the most half-baked ideas are the best ideas once they're fleshed out, right? So it's like I would encourage anybody with any idea, to put it forth. And we should, as a community, not lambaste people, right, for putting ideas forward. And if it's a bad idea, there's a lot of toxicity in this space, where if you put forth something that is, later becomes seen as not being viable, that somehow means you're a bad person or whatever the narrative is, right? They write a horse article about you, whatever, like
Please.
you can't be afraid to step up, right? And
Mhm.
if you're here and you're vocal, you should be helping with solutions. And yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's not again like even here with like Mountain Goat's Point here, it's pretty tough. They'll be because LPers have that bootstrap the project, made it possible. Clearly, they aren't active in governance. Will be stripped of their own ownership by the new investors that now control governance. The point is that we're trying to get everyone to get it out. It's almost like, hey, let's put a rally out for everyone to claim. Maybe that should be the narrative, right? Like, hey, go claim your resort rewards. They're sitting here. Go do it. Like, let's do a huge PSA on it. Because maybe, yeah, people just totally forgot. Apparently, like this guy that had, 92,000 sushi just chilling. Yeah, it's not like we're saying, hey, you can't go claim these anymore. It's like, you have the ability to do this. Go get it. Go get it. Claim it. Do it. And if there's people who are just not interested, or there's just like, they are, potentially dead wallets. Like, I don't think that needs to just sit there forever, personally. Like, go get it. Go get your rewards. Go get them, please.
What's the stance on that in TradFi, right? Like, if I banked X amount of money in Chase and then just went AWOL and disappeared, how long until that's forfeit to the bank?
Man, it's not like this isn't like a new idea. Like, this has been going on since like forever. Like, even, Maki was talking about it like 3 or 6 months, I think, into after vesting after all that, he wanted to like, he was talking about this, and we're a year and whatever later. Like, I don't know. I think it's time.
I think there's a decent degree of like paralysis analysis. People are afraid to make a decision and kind of be like, yeah, let's go forward, right? And so like at some point we have to make decisions and we have to go forward. And every decision is going to have a list of pros and cons. As long as we're operating in a transparent manner and we're disclosing the plans and we vote on it in governance, you're gonna have people that are unhappy. Like, I mean, even the election, right? People are unhappy in the outcome of the election because their candidate didn't win, because they felt like the way that the thing was structured. But we all had, as candidates, access to the same people to pitch ourselves. So at some point you have to make a decision. You have to vote. We have to move forward as a protocol. And we are always going to have critics. I expect, as long as I'm in crypto and in this role, I will always have critics. But as long as I am transparent and open, I don't hide things from people, and we move forward that way, you can sleep well at night that you're doing the best for the protocol and the community. I do want to address Loso's tag here about the liquid runway. So we have salaries paid and Infuro streaming through June. We have another, it's fluctuating kind of wildly in the last couple of days with the stuff, but with Sushi House assets, with Treasury, we've got, I think, another somewhere between 10 and $15 million in total assets available. Now, that's not liquid. We would have to liquidate portions of it to make it available for salary. So the plan is to do all of these things so that we have the assets. We can diversify. We can liquidate portions of it. We can diversify it, and we can start to build ourselves up a runway that extends into 3, 4, 5+ years, so that we don't have to revisit this down the road. And the plan that I've been working on, there are multiple ways to diversify the treasury with some of the new products that we have that are actually very close, like Q1 release close, that should bring quite a lot of value to the treasury. But I don't want to gamble the future of the protocol on secondary products being enough to bring value back to the treasury to sustain runway, because you got to pay people, right? Everybody talks about, oh, well, people are being paid this or people are being paid that. You're paying for talent, like, right? Like, if the community wants to step up and work for free, by all means, step up, work for free. I mean, no one works for free. You got to pay talented people to do their jobs. So, and then Zulian, power of raising 130 million and no need for a farm token. Absolutely, right? That's their business model, but it doesn't negate the power of keeping your treasury diversified and it being strong. And Sushi, at multiple times in its past, had an opportunity to liquidate nearly $500 million worth of its own native token, diversify its treasury, and not be in the place that it's in now. And this isn't a negative thing, right? This is just the reality. So how do we fix it? How do we set Sushi up to have that opportunity again and then take advantage of it at that time? You know, you're in the heat of the moment. I've seen it multiple cycles back in the day when it was like Bitcoin altcoins like Pivx and so on and so forth. They launch, they have a token, right, of their pre-mine. They never diversify because their community doesn't want it, because it's going to go up. It's going to go up. There's FOMO in the marketplace. They don't diversify, and then the project dies. And it happens literally every cycle, every single cycle. This isn't anything new. I've been through it. And actually, some of the controversy of the last project that, I was involved in was a similar thing. The community didn't want to diversify. The team didn't rally together to diversify, and the treasury ran out, and I had to go out and raise secondary funds in a bear market where it was, I mean, it was a challenge. It took me 6 months to raise that few $1 million. And yeah, so I don't want us to go down that route, and I'd like to hear ideas. I have my own ideas. They'll be presented in the next couple of weeks. I think people will see the big picture of what the way forward is, I think, is for Sushi, and then we can tear it apart together and go from there. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being here and talking this out right now.
Yeah, this is the most active I think I've ever seen the AMA text channel, which is awesome.
Does people not claiming vests hurt the project? I mean, no, not necessarily. It's just money not in circulation, or tokens not in circulation.
Yeah, and I would say that, like, I've been kind of keeping it on the back foot for the last couple of weeks, or maybe it's the third week now since I put the CanPy 100% redirect proposal up, because I've been thinking about what that looks like, tied into the future tokenomics that we're working on, the future business model for Sushi, moving excuse me, the product stack towards creating some revenue and then trying to scale that, right? And so I've been kind of like just thinking about it and talking to people and trying to figure out what that looks like. But we definitely need to capture back some of that value. And it could look something like, for 6 months, 100% redirected back to the treasury until an arbitrary amount that we settle on is met. And then moving forward, it's 50-50. Going forward, because I don't think that like 90-10 is sustainable. You got emissions ending, not sure what that's going to look like, but these are real conversations that like we need to have, and I probably will put another proposal up in the next few days that address some of that stuff and start the discussion back up. I will say, on a positive note, right, that in the financial audit that I have been working on, we have been able to bring down our runway from about 8.9 million down to about 6.5 million. And then once we execute on the Sushi Labs, which I'm renaming to Sushi Studios, and we're going to move to prop up show you under that, it'll de-stress the main treasury runway down to about 4.85 million per year. So effectively, from 9 million down to about 5 million. That'll be the runway moving forward, which makes a lot of these things a lot easier, right, to talk about, because if we can get to a place where we have 20 to 25 million dollars in value brought back to the treasury, and it's diversified so that it's not all the native token, we're in a really strong place, for the next few years. But that's a budget that pays the current team with, maybe 2% buffer. It's not a lot of room to hire out, to scale, to bring on new talent and stuff like that. But it keeps us operational, right? So that is a quite a reduction in the budget.
Something that I've considered before is like cell phone liquidity. Like sometimes on the L2 chains, and I've said a few times here, like there's not a whole lot of sushi liquidity available. People farm it up and they want to dump it, but they can't dump it because they got to LP it for somebody to be able to dump it. And I don't know, I feel like maybe it would be a good idea to, like, maybe Compi could collect cell phone liquidity that wouldn't go to the treasury but would be available for usage, and then it would have bigger pools that we could use to generate more revenue from. That was just one idea I had.
I think like the problem is you have to capture value fast, right? You don't have a lot of time to let these kinds of scenarios play out. So like, could that work long term? Yeah, sure, maybe. But every day that it doesn't work and isn't capturing value are fees that are going out to ex-sushi stakers that, there's not a ton of value being provided to the protocol, and definitely not the treasury. Interestingly, I've had Flipside Crypto building out an analytics report that goes through and quantifies the leakage of value from the ex-sushi, from the sushi bar, as well as like the cost of our emissions, how much we've paid in subsidies from our emissions to LPs, the return of LPs from those subsidies. And just on quick math, it's close to 9-1. So like for every $9 we're spending in subsidies, we're only returning $1. That's a horrible, horrible, horrible business model. The only way this has sustained itself so far is because it was the darling of a bull market. That's over. So like treasury mismanagement, a poor tokenomics schedule, a broken revenue model that leaks nearly all of its value back to non-incentivized participants other than taking a staking action, is a really broken model. But part of the tokenomics that I'm working on to put forth is all of these analytics so that we can make a data-driven decision on people not coming from an emotive place. They can go, holy shit, like this is broken. Okay, how do we go forward, instead of bantering back and forth about I feel this or I think that, or it'll be based on data, and then we can make a real decision. Because we can sit in Discord and Telegram all day and debate the merits of like philosophical positions. That gets us nowhere, right?
Right. Goes about tokenomics. With the multi-sig getting ironed out, I think that was just a big problem for the redirecting liquidity there, is just people were not signing transactions to do it. If I remember correctly.
You're right. Yeah.
I feel like, that's something that we never really properly utilized.
I think, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we can move forward now. Should be done now, I believe.
Yeah, multi-sig stuff. Yeah,
ready to go.
It's Maki is going to be leading that, just to make sure that gets all transitioned over. And then again, just like pointed out that getting the getting the multi-sig holders to tweet out their address. That way, it can be confirmed that it is them that are, it's actually their address, and that they are in control of it, rather than just like 7 addresses that, some rando made, or it's like one of them that just had all 7 addresses, and then obviously that's a problem. So yeah, just to kind of provide that extra bit of transparency.
Awesome. I mean, I'm looking at Ghost's link here.
The tokenomics stuff's pretty big brained. Took me a long time to figure it out.
Yeah, I'll have to read all of this stuff later. The idea is using undistributed fees plus some funds from Sushi House. Yeah, I mean, I think like you guys are just thinking about this the wrong way. Like, you're trying to distribute value into an ecosystem from a point of collection that no longer captures any value to maintain itself. Like, Sushi House funds are all going to have to go to the treasury. Like, how we handle it, I don't know. We can discuss that, but like, you're going to have runway. And so like Sushi House is absolutely the lowest lift. It's already passed. The fund should be like just brought back into the treasury, multi-sig, and then a budget proposal put forth, which is likely to be this reduced one, and then keep operating the protocol, right? The main goal is to relieve inflationary element of liquidity sourcing. Yeah, I mean, that's the total goal. I agree. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a tough problem, right? Like it's but you solve it once and you're done, right? I think by the end of the year, you're going to have a tech stack that's revenue positive, in a way that's not fully extractive the way it is now. You're going to have better tokenomics. You're going to have new products that are launched under the Sushi brand, but don't strain the main Sushi treasury. We've got some really great partnerships coming up. There's a ton of momentum. Like, these are 2 or 3 things that we just have to solve as a community, and then we're good for like at least nearly 3 years, which is a lot of time.
GPG, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Like, compared to the way that it's already set up. Because right now, it would be the 25 basis points for the LP, and then the 5 for the ex Sushi holders, with 5% or 10% of that going to the treasury. So you're saying like increase the cost or the fees?
Why not turn Sushi router on, and with the added fee source, you can lower the explicit LP fee. LPs get their 30 basis points more to the treasury.
Oh, Sushi Guard.
Yeah, Sushi Guard is there's some UX issues there, not to mention failed transactions, stuff like that. And we are in the process with Sam of getting a new beta up for people to test, to see how the new contracts that he's launched for the new router will perform. And if so, yeah, a lot of this discussion goes away, because conservative projections are that quite a lot would be brought back to the treasury, and it would make the protocol profitable. So yeah, I agree with you there. We're not quite there yet. We have initial tests next week, but if it fails, it fails, right? So I don't want to make bets on the future of the protocol on one solution. It needs to be a multi-pronged kind of approach where we're clawing back value or redirecting value, um, so that the treasury can be made whole again. Why not stop X sushi buybacks and just have stables?
I see Loso. You want to come up? Let's get you up here too. If you've got your hand up, thanks for Loso.
Yeah, anybody who'd like to come up, man, like for
Yep.
sure, always welcome up.
Raise your hand. Get up here. Loso, come on up. I'm good, thank you. Oh. All right.
And this is what the forum's all about, man. Like I just really want to hear from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. If only Alameda FTX would donate the money back.
I'm trying to back channel that right now and see what we can make happen there. I mean, obviously that's an absolute long shot, right?
Yeah, it's a big doubt, but I mean, nothing can't happen if you don't try.
Right, you got to ask, right? All they can do is say no.
Several people are typing. I love to see it.
Yep.
I feel it's interesting because I feel like today we're doing less talking and there's more typing.
Right, Stack, but I agree if there's no like the staking dividends a huge part of that. I just feel like it would scare away voters too. Hello, Zelda.
Sorry, Zappa, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that's just a weird thing I feel about turning off the X sushi fee or redirecting it is it really does disincentivize people for even wanting to pay the gas to stake to even vote or want to be in there.
In the metrics that I have, Flipside putting together, the total effect of X sushi is going to be quantified. We'll be able to cross-reference the amount of people who are LPing with the amount of people that are staking in X sushi. We'll be able to extrapolate out all of the percentages of participation and be able to decide, does it make sense for this to even exist? And if it does continue to exist, what form does it, right? I think there's an emotional connection to X sushi that doesn't really translate to its value proposition for most people. Like, most people want the token price to go up. And if that's being suppressed by poorly designed token incentives or token mechanics, you're doing a disservice to the token holders by making these extractive mechanisms that are preventing them from the purpose of why they're even staking it in the first place. It's almost like you can't have your cake and eat it too in many instances, and that's what a lot of protocols try to promote with poorly designed tokenomics. And so it's like, oh, I want more tokens so that I can make more money. Well, that doesn't necessarily translate, especially in low liquidity environments like we're experiencing now, where liquidity is leaving the system, not entering it, right? So that's the reality of this. That's why I think that this mechanism, it only really translates into like a bull market or an environment where more liquidity is being attracted constantly. But
Right.
yeah.
Hey, Loso.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, did this impact anything with the Meiji restoration? And I think something with the revamp of the tokenomics could help, the situation out a little bit more, as perhaps it attracts more LPs or more people to invest with sushi. and therefore, perhaps giving us more runway down the line with the token revamp.
Yeah, I think so. Like the Magi proposal is Copy Passes ask me to push that through to a snapshot vote so that we can get that moving. I wanted a few more days in this week to just review it and think about it. Because these are permanent changes in so much that, like, to get anything done, we have to put forth a new proposal. We have to discuss it. That traditionally has taken months, and then voting process. So likely going forward with that to snapshot, but just wanted to give it more time. That's for the governance side of things, right? And I think that that's a good first step forward. But ultimately, like, the economics of the token are really what it almost drives the participation further, right? If you have more incentive to participate in an ecosystem, you don't have to be quite as creative with the governance modeling side of the token, because people want to take part, right? People are
Oh,
disincentivized.
absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
at the end of the day, a lot of people came to crypto to get rich. So
That's the cold hard truth, right? Like, right? That's
Is
absolutely true.
wrong, but I thought that proposal basically separated the tokenomics with the governance, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I think in doing that, that kind of drives more economic incentive, as those interested in governance will have that set aside versus those interested in the tokenomic side of it.
It could for sure. I think what I'm focusing on is the mechanics of the value loop that we're hoping to create, because the current one is broken, right? It's extracting value from away from the treasury in every instance that it can, whether it's the way we're incentivizing LPs, right, which Ghost pointed out, and I was talking about a little bit earlier, the extractive value of a 9-to-1 split being paid out to the sushi bar. There's not a lot of value left, and likely we wouldn't be having this conversation if previous management, this is the reality, this doesn't throw anybody under the bus, but it's just poorly managed in the past, where, like, the treasury at one point was nearly 400 something $million. I mean, if you cash out 100 million of that into stables, you self-finance just on low risk diversification pretty much for the life of the protocol. That's kind of where I'm hoping to get us again, to get us a second chance at that, since we've already bootstrapped the liquidity and our emissions are running out if we don't change them, and we're in a bear market, we're not capturing value, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree with you. I just don't think we have, like, a solid plan on the economic side yet, and that's what I've been working on.
I know somebody asked earlier with regards to Sushi Guard. I know you said that you wouldn't want to bet on that per se. I do think it would help a lot of the situation. I'm not familiar with the estimates of how that can impact the protocol. Like, are you confident that's something that can change things? And I know you said you're gonna beta test that sometime next week. Like, is that something you're confident that could actually help the protocol?
So there's some key technical hurdles to making it as successful as it was projected in the original proposal. And yeah, C actually asked that a few minutes ago, that the Sushi Router partnership with Manifold seems like a great opportunity. Last that you heard from me, we were reviewing the code for it to be published. What's the update on that? So the contracts have already been launched. We reviewed the code. We had a call with Sam, Sarang, Matt, and myself, and we discussed how the implementation of the current contracts will function. And, we're not confident that it will be the silver bullet that we want it to be, or that we wanted it to be. We had Ilya look at the kind contracts, break down just the routing mechanism. You know, he's the one building out times and stuff like that. And there's not full confidence that it will solve the problem. If there were, I would totally rally behind that as the solution, and we'd give it our all. We're going to test it and see what the numbers say. And if the numbers come back and prove us wrong, then we'll lean into that heavily. But yeah, next week we're pulling it into the front end so that we can make it available for beta testers who want to come try it out and just start getting some data on it to see how it works in real time. If we get proven wrong and it does, hit some of the, relative to the target market target that he put in the original proposal, it'll be a huge boon to the Treasury for sure. And keep your fingers crossed, I guess.
Wrap me up.
Oh, I appreciate all you guys, for real. All of you.
Beating you. 121 asked in the Price Talk channel what's happening with the sushi that FTX Alameda / FBF holds. What's the size? Can you say? Yeah, all these numbers are public. I think they own something like 3.8 million X sushi or 3.4 million.
3.4 I think was what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
I'll check. I think I saw a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was floating around on Twitter and I got a couple of media requests to speak about it. So, it's theirs. They farmed it. They can do whatever they want with it. If they decide to liquidate it, we anticipate a price impact on an open market sale of about 10% to the current token price, whatever time that they would liquidate it. I've reached out through a few channels to see if they'll gift it back to us. I understand it sounds a little ridiculous, but I'm willing to shamelessly see if they'll do it. If they do, great. We'll throw it into the Treasury or whatever. We'll burn it maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's theirs. They can do whatever they want with it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the spreadsheet that Kobe had up, but I don't think that's quite right. I don't even see X Sushi on there. Off the either scan.
Jiro just posted it for you.
Oh, thank you. Yep, 3.4 million.
Nick, you bought a farm? On-chain farm purchase discussion. You're an actual real-world farmer now. What are you farming?
Oh, he has the potato.
He's a potato farmer now?
He had a real estate project. I suppose it's better if he talked about it, but yeah.
Get him up here. Let's hear about the potato farm. I want to know when Potato Coin.
He left to go to a meeting.
Okay, all right.
Those Rambo bikes are pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know. I know that you said you had something you had to do it around now, right? Around 2:00.
Yeah, they just pinged me. I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys tag me in any questions you have. Please keep the conversation going. And again, all DMs always open for ideas and discussion.
Yeah. Awesome to have like this kind of good open forum discussion. Like that's, really what we want to continue to inspire here and, to cultivate. So definitely, thanks to everybody that has been participating in all this. And it's good to have these and see everyone's perspectives and different ideas. And that's the beauty of this.
Yeah, man, it's really important that we have these communication channels open, and we work together to get to the best end result. You know, I'm super positive. Like I feel like we've got a couple of blockers in our way. We get through them together as a community. The team is absolutely crushing it. They grind super hard every day, and like I know you guys are in those meetings too at times, and so I feel really good about where we're headed. It's just these couple of things that we need to do, and we need to do them together, and then we can move on past them. You know, to the fun stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel good. I'm positive. But I got to jump in that other meeting, guys. Y'all have a good one and keep up the chat.
Likewise. Likewise.
Yeah. Peace, dude.
See you, Jared. Well, on that note, yeah, maybe it's a good time to wrap up here. This has been an hour discussion. Yeah, thanks everybody for contributing and participating in this. I don't know, any further kind of comments here, Zap, or anybody from anything else?
Well, no. There's really not any new proposals up on the forum for this week, but I really do, you know, if you haven't really looked through the Meiji Restoration, you know, governance rework or even the Merkle Clawback, you know, please give your 2 cents on it.
Yep.
And I'll link them in here. And yeah, I don't know, man. We don't really have too much else to talk about today. I don't think so.
Yeah. All good though. No, but this has been great to have, you know, this much kind of engagement around this stuff. Super appreciative, and yeah, want people's voices to be heard and want to bring out like really great ideas around all this. So it's fantastic. But
yeah. If you're watching this, we're gonna put it up on YouTube as is tradition. And yeah, I've started archiving these on Spotify from about Form 100 on. I have 0 views, 0 listens, so I'll link it there. You know, feel free to check that out if you want to go back and recap any of this conversation or whatever. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, like it, subscribe it, all that good stuff.
exactly.
Take it away, Tangle.
Yeah. So yeah, as Zap said, it'll be there on both platforms. Then also we've got the POAP. So if you are looking to claim a POAP, head over to claim-POAP. We're sending the link over there now. Yeah, hopefully it's all good with Guild and whatnot. So just looking, claim POAP for 104. There it is. I think it's working. And something we can kind of discuss further on here, maybe not necessarily today, but just having like POAP now has a setup where we can actually put like a paywall, well, not necessarily a paywall. I don't want to call it a paywall, but like we could have like a kind of a donation or contribution to it. So if you wanted to claim that POAP, you could actually, we could say like, hey, it costs you like $1 or something, and we can just pay it out on like Polygon or you know, Optimism or something where it's super cheap for everyone. And then we can kind of build like a little kind of like a little war chest or a little community fund or something, and then we could put it towards some other interesting initiatives. But yeah, that's food for thought yet. Doesn't need to take place today, but yeah, just something we can think about. Could be kind of a neat way of kind of, yeah, preventing super sibblers. And if we do have sibblers, then perfect. I mean, this is a good way to kind of build something. So anyways, just want to continue to bring that idea forward and see what people think about it. But yeah, should be able to go claim your POAP, do that. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thanks a lot for joining.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.